there, internet folk. Thanks for watching. This is my top 3 film posters recorded especially for a competition for HorrorHands. Check that channel out. Some really good horror reviews there. Anyway, I'm just going to get straight into it with a couple of honourable mentions first. These definitely didn't get in, but let me show you this one first. I love this. It's not really a film poster, but this is from The Mist. It's actually a painting of Roland Deschain from the Dark Tower stories, not the film, because as you can see, this guy is not Idris Elba. But yeah, this was painted for use in the film The Mist, because the character in it is an artist, and that's what he's working on at the time. That was done by Drew Struzan, most well known for Indiana Jones and Star Wars, Back to the Future, some other fantastic film posters. So I feel like in good conscience I can't enter that one. It's not really a film poster, but I just wanted to share that one because it's really cool. Second is another one. You can see this here, The Blood on Satan's Claw. This one, I'm going to discount this one as well because this is not an original film poster. This is from DVD re-release from a couple of years ago. But I really like this. I really like this a lot. And it's by a famous artist who, unlike Drew Struzan, who is mostly linked with blockbusters, this guy, Graham Humphreys, does a lot of horror posters. So he did the VHS for Return of the Living Dead, both the Evil Dead, the first 2 Evil Dead posters, Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2, The Stuff, loads of other stuff as well, and he's done a lot of the exclusive covers for Arrow Blu-ray. So really great artist. I love his stuff. I can't include that one because it's not really a film, but I just want to share this one as well. Once again, I'm not sure this one counts, but this is Graham Humphreys again from the documentary You're So Cool, Brewster, the story of Fright Night. It was a Kickstarter about 3 years ago. I didn't back it. I didn't know about it at the time. I normally do keep on top of horror stuff on Kickstarter, but I missed that one. But luckily for me, it did come on the Eureka release of Fright Night when they put the Blu-ray out a couple of years ago. So that leads me to, now I've got a few in a short list. I'm going to show you them all and then choose my top 3. But these are all posters I love. First off, of course, Fright Night. Now, I heard about this competition from Grumpy Andrew. He shared his top 3. This was one of his top 3 as well. I think he talked about it much more articulately and eloquently than I could. But I just love this poster. It scared me as a kid with the vampire in the clouds juxtaposed against this suburban setting and the house that is a bit like the Bates Motel with the little guy in the window. Really good. And there's not much else to say about this. I just love it. Sadly, the provenance of this poster has become lost. Nobody knows, well, I'm sure somebody knows, but it's not recorded anywhere who painted this for the film, which is a great shame because I just love it, and I would love to find out who did it and just thank them for such a great poster. So, moving on, another one where we don't know who made it. This is an old film from 1988. Not many people I know have seen this, but I'm sure your horror fans know this one well. This is 1988's Cameron's Closet. It's possibly by a guy called Mentor Hubner. He worked in the art department on the film. He may have been a set designer or a matte painting designer. That's all I can find out from IMDb, so it's possibly not him. But what I love about this is it's what film posters were in the 80s. There's so much going on. It's much more exciting than what actually happens in the film. I mean, this is what I saw in the VHS shop that made me want to hire that. I mean, the big hand coming out the door never happens. With the tiny little kid running away, it just looks so exciting. And yeah, it drew me in, like a good film poster should. There's a funny story about Cameron's Closet, actually. I hired it with my friend Kevin, and we took it up to my parents' bedroom to throw on their video player in their bedroom. Both of us leapt on the bed, put it in, started watching. Now my parents had one of those big double wardrobes which kind of came over, had a bit across the top, and then an open area in the middle with a mirror, and that's where the TV was. And we were watching it with all the lights off, enjoying it. I mean, we were teenagers, we loved horror films no matter how good or bad they were, and we were having fun. When my friend Kevin adjusted himself on the bed to make himself more comfortable, had forgotten there was a mirror behind the TV, and yeah, saw somebody move behind the TV, and obviously we were watching a film about a demon that comes out of a kid's cupboard. And yeah, Kevin did make a rather loud shriek, which drew my parents up to the bedroom, and yeah, it wasn't good. We were banned from watching films in my mum and dad's bedroom from that point on. Speaking of shrieks, this is one that I saw as a small kid in a VHS shop. Now, not many people at all have seen this. It's a really low budget kind of grindhouse Yeti movie from 1974, Shriek of the Mutilated. Now, I'll just hide that there because it gives away, the poster gives away some of the plot, some of the twist, which is not a good thing. But I just love this picture of the Yeti coming up the stairs. I saw it when I was about 6 or 7, and it just terrified me. The version in the film is not terrifying. It's actually quite disappointing when you've seen this. But yeah, there it is. Shriek of the Mutilated. Now, from this point on, they're all going to be films from the video shop. Here comes another one. Cannibal Holocaust. It's this actual poster that I'm talking about, not the terrible one that came with the US release, which looked like people had cut out photographs and glued them back on again. That was dreadful. This one, I saw this, and my other choice, which I don't have a printout of, which is annoying because I thought I did. Let me just check. Nope, don't have a printout of that one. My other choice in the shortlist is Zombie Flesh Eaters. I'll put a picture up on the screen so you can see the exact one that I'm talking about. Now, we do know who painted that. It's the one with the hand coming out of the ground. An English artist called Tom Bove, who also did Mad Max, 48 Hours, Risky Business, the famous Here's Johnny poster for The Shining. It was photographed, but he was the designer on that. From Russia with Love, loads of films he did posters for. And it was Cannibal Holocaust and Zombie Flesh Eaters together. I saw them on the same day. I know that I was 7. That will become clear in a moment why I know that. But yeah, they absolutely terrified me. The idea of cannibals and the idea of zombies, they were just like two of the scariest Hollywood monsters at the time. They were very indie, grindhouse type monsters. And yeah, I just didn't like that at all. And yeah, I was traumatized by it, but I mean, it's drawn me back to horror as an adult, so I love those posters. They did exactly what they were supposed to once again. Anyway, so it was 1982, and I was off sick that day. My mum took me to the video store. I chose some films, but I had to go through the horror section first to find all the kids' films, which to me is just like really bad placement of the video shop, but there you go. Anyway, I took my films, but the memory of Zombie Flesh Eaters and Cannibal Holocaust were fresh in my mind, and I was absolutely terrified of them. And later we went to pick up my brother from school. He was in a couple of years below me. He was in the first year of primary school, what we call reception in the UK, 5 years old. And my mum parked the car up on the edge of the woods by the school and said to me, well, you just wait there, I'll go and wait by the gates. Now, we're only talking about 50 metres away. Easily she could see me in the car and I could see her. But the way she parked it, the car was facing into the woods by the school. And she left me in the car with the radio on, facing into the woods. Now, in my 7-year-old head, I started conjuring up images of the zombies and the cannibals teaming up in the woods, and they were planning to come and get me out of the car. And on the radio was Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney singing Ebony and Ivory while this was all going through in my head. And then my mum came back with my brother, we went home, we watched the films, we had our dinner, went to bed. But in my head, Ebony and Ivory is always inexplicably linked with zombie flesh eaters and Cannibal Holocaust. And whenever I hear that song, I'm just taken back to that day outside the school, waiting for my brother, absolutely terrified of what is coming. So, going back to that VHS store that we used to go to when I was a kid, here's my other shortlist choice, something quite different, but this really stuck out in my head as a kid, and for very, very different reasons. And it's 1984's Bloodbath at the House of Death. I'll just zoom that in a bit for you there. Yeah, Kenny Everett, Pamela Stevenson, a bath full of blood. It's not very scary, it's kind of hammerish, but it's also, as you can see, very carry-on-like. And you know, anybody growing up in the 70s and 80s loved carry-on films. I mean, they're problematic these days, but yeah, just that whole picture just made me smile. In amongst other things like Driller Killer, Zombie Flesh Eaters, Cannibal Holocaust, Shriek of the Mutilated, Orca, that was another one that used to scare me. So, yeah, Bloodbath at the House of Death. So that's my shortlist. I've got to decide what goes in it now. There were some others that almost made it. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. It was a poster I used to love, but then I realised that I loved that poster because I was 13, and there are 2 reasons why a 13-year-old boy would love that poster. So that one's out. Shocker, Wes Craven's film. That's a pretty cool poster. I like that. 1989 Society. The poster is great. I love that poster. It's another one that like really drew me in. Ghost Chase as well, one of Roland Emmerich's very early English language films. Dreadful film, brilliant poster. There are a few in the 90s, great films, but the posters are terrible, so I looked at those, but I had to discount them. There was In the Mouth of Madness, Interview with the Vampire, what else? American Werewolf in Paris. Okay, bad film, bad poster. Just bad all round. But yeah, the 90s wasn't great for horror posters. So, let me see. I'm just going to flick through these and make my mind up. Oh, so it's not going to be those. No, it's not going to be that one. It's not going to be that one. Yeah. Now this, I love the poster. I love that it's brought out such sort of feelings of terror, which I'm sure the artists would love to know, but I can't, in good conscience, allow Cannibal Holocaust to be in my top 3, purely because it's a bad film. Not a bad film in it's not well made, but it's got the animal cruelty in it. No, I can't let that be in my top 3. So my top 3 are going to be Cameron's Closet. Just such a brilliant poster, much better than the film. So exciting, there's a lot going on there. And yeah, I just really like that a lot. Zombie Flesh Eaters, which I've lost my printout for. Once again, terrifying, tells you everything you need to know with something so simple, just a hand coming out of the ground. Terrifying. And also in my top 3, it's just one of my all-time favourite films. It's got to be this, Fright Night. So, there you have it. My top 3 favourite horror film posters. So if you want to have a go yourself, entering your own top 3 favourite film posters, pop on over to HorrorHands. Also visit Grumpy Andrew's Horror House, who gave me the idea for this. He does great horror reviews too. And apart from that, just check out my own websites, World Geekly News, where we're currently having a scary story competition for Halloween. Closes on October the 15th, so if you fancy writing 1,000 words or less, either a short story or a poem, then pop on over there. And also my other website, Badger's Crossing, which is a short stories website where we invite people to come and join us and write stories. They're all set in the same town. That's what links them all together. We've got 3 or 4 good people there writing stories for it. Just had a couple new people join, so they'll be going on the site soon. All these links will be in the description below, so please do check them out. But otherwise, thanks for listening. HorrorHand, I hope that you like my top 3. I hope I win, but I've enjoyed watching all the entries, so thanks for watching.